am now in the emptiest country in the world! Unlike Greenland, this country is 100% independent and it is green. This is Mongolia. It's a very large country with a very small population, which means they have 2 people per square kilometer on average. They have the famous Mongolian nature, thousands and thousands of open green fields, and they live in the famous Mongolian houses, the ger. They live alone with their family, surrounded by animals and nature. This is it. This is their backyard. And whenever they want, they can just pack their home in 20 minutes, fit it on top of a camel or inside a car, and move locations to anywhere they want. No permits, no estate tax, no problems. Just find an empty piece of land anywhere in Mongolia and call it home. This is the life all of us dream of, and more than 20% of Mongolians have this life today. When you compare this life to this life, this life to this life, you'll finally understand why the emptiest country in the world is actually full of life.
Hi, I'm Ganaaa. So I know this video is so beautiful about the Mongolia, but in Mongolia we have a lot of conflict in our country. So I wanna talk about the one conflict in Mongolia, which is
Mongolia became a democracy in 1990 after a peaceful revolution led by students and young activists. For the first time in history, the people gained the right to vote, speak freely, and choose their leaders. The movement marked a turning point from decades of one-party socialist rule under the Mongolian People's Revolutionary Party, which had governed in close alignment with the Soviet Union. The revolution began with hunger strikes, street protests, and public gatherings in Ulaanbaatar's Sukhbaatar Square, where thousands of citizens called for political reform and greater freedoms. Despite the tensions of the Cold War and the risk of violent crackdowns seen in other countries, Mongolia's transition was remarkably non-violent. By March 1990, the government resigned, and steps were taken to establish a multi-party system. The adoption of the 1992 constitution was a landmark in this transformation. It established the framework for a parliamentary democracy and enshrined civil liberties such as freedom of speech, religion, and the press. It also guaranteed the separation of powers, protection of private property, and equal rights under the law. Since then, Mongolia has held regular elections, seen peaceful transfers of power, and developed a vibrant civil society. While challenges remain, the legacy of the 1990 revolution continues to inspire efforts to strengthen democracy and protect the rights of all Mongolians.
our culture traditionally values harmony, respect, and open discussion. In the early democratic years, we saw hope. Independent newspapers, TV channels, and eventually social media gave citizens a voice. People could finally express their opinions without fear. But democracy is more than just elections. It requires constant protection of civil rights, especially freedom of the press.
Norog, an independent Mongolian media outlet, recently completed a documentary titled 18 Days, which followed 6 citizens during the 2024 parliamentary election to raise political awareness and reveal how parties influence voters. Shortly after announcing the film in March 2025, Norog's office was raided by authorities, who seized 14 terabytes of footage and detained 8 staff members overnight without legal access. Accused of undermining national unity, Norog now faces serious legal threats. The timing of the raid has raised alarm about declining press freedom in Mongolia, with many viewing it as an attempt to silence investigative journalism. Despite these pressures, Norog remains committed to continuing its work and is calling for public and international support.
In my culture, we usually try to handle conflict in calm and respectful ways. We don't like direct confrontation, especially in public, because keeping harmony is very important. When there is a problem, people often talk privately or bring respected elder or family member to help solve it. This shows that we care about relationships and want to fix things without causing shame or making it worse. One traditional way we solve conflict is through talking circles or family meetings where everyone involved gets a chance to speak. Elders often guide these talks because they are trusted and wise. They don't force a decision but help people understand each other better. Sometimes small gifts or kind actions are used to show apology and rebuild trust. The strengths of this approach are that it helps people stay connected and avoids making conflicts bigger. It focuses on understanding, respect, and keeping the community strong. It's not just about solving the issue, but also healing the relationship. However, one challenge is that sometimes people stay quiet instead of speaking up because they don't want to cause problem. Also, if the elder is biased or if there is power imbalance, the solution might not feel fair to everyone. To solve conflict using our cultural way, we should create a safe space where people can speak openly without fear. We can ask someone neutral, like elder or respected community member, to help guide the conversation, but sides should be willing to listen, speak honestly, and focus on understanding, not blaming. Showing kindness or making small gesture can help rebuild trust. In conclusion, my culture's way of handling conflict reflects deep values of respect, family, and harmony. It teaches that relationships are more important than being right. But in cases like Norog's, we also see that conflict can be about freedom. The freedom to speak up, ask questions, and hold leaders accountable. If people are punished or threatened for expressing their truth, then real peace cannot exist. Others can learn from our peaceful methods of conflict resolution, but also from Norog's courage to stand up for freedom, reminding us that silence is not always peace.